You know, it's kind of interesting. We're in this election season, and by the way, I hope you are researching your candidates and the positions that they take. We're going to do everything we can to inform our congregation of where people stand, not so that they can make a decision, but there are groups out there that tell you where they stand on various issues, and we're going to try and get that material and get it out for you to take home and read and look at. I think that's important. We as citizens should vote, and can't complain about it if you don't get involved. So hopefully everyone that is a believer in Christ will do that, will get involved. But there is a sense, we talked about this just earlier in the week, of God just, it must be awfully funny to him. I can think of a few times where it just kind of stands out. For example, in 1 Kings chapter 18, when Elijah and the priests of Baal were there and they were cutting themselves, and he starts just kind of mocking them, just in a certainly a humorous way. you know, Maybe he's taking a nap. Maybe your God is, excuse me, by the way. Perhaps he's, perhaps he's gone aside. He's maybe, doing something else. Perhaps, I don't know. I mean, your mind could just go in a lot of different directions here. But he's expressing God's kind of humor at their attitude of how they've, replaced God, and they come up with their own answers for life. And isn't that true in so many different areas of the world that we live in? People that are assuming that they have the answer for a broad swath of people. And honestly, in many ways, they're hurting those people that they say they care the most about. For example, if we shift all of our, get rid of all the energy that we have in this nation, and we think that's going to be harmful to us. No, to be truthful, that's going to be harmful to all those people that are poverty stricken in the 1040 window that need various forms of energy to exist. And we're depriving them of that, and depriving them of the means by which they can cultivate their land, because they need that oil or natural gas to be able to, drive the engines that do so. I'm just saying, all the many ideas that we come up with, typically built around some kind of cataclysmic mindset, to, infuse people with a sense of dread if it's not accepted. All of that is, I can imagine God just sets up in heaven and says, you could just trust me. You really could. You could just trust me. And if you do, I can direct your steps, as we've said in Proverbs 3 and verse 5 and on. I'd love to do so, God says. Steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord in Psalm 37:24. I'd love to. I love to bless, to bless people that submit to me. I'd love to do so. But you can just imagine God it says, for example, those nations that seek to break away from God and do their own thing and not acknowledge him in any way. He says, I'll laugh. It just makes me laugh. In Psalm 2 and verse 3, it just kind of makes me laugh that you would even think that you could do that. Like, you're not, like, I hold the nations and they're just a drop in the bucket in my hand, but that's okay. Or in Proverbs 1 and verse 26, where it says, I'll laugh at your calamity because you just reject my teaching. You just go ahead. I'll just laugh. What are we trying to show the loved ones that we have in our life? That a God who is literally vested in the very minute details of our life, that nothing is beyond his care, that we can rest in him, that we have a sense of purpose, of rest, that we don't have to get involved in the fray of all these foolish ideas that so many people have today. We're not here to defend a cause. we actually live in the person who is the cause of all things. And he's totally at peace with himself. His spirit isn't striving to prove himself anymore. That's what the resurrection was all about. We have a rest that says that isn't known by man, other men. Unbelievers will never know this rest that we have in Hebrews 4. It's something that's appointed to us. We have it. And that very disposition, in the midst of all the chaos that goes on in the world around us, especially as we get into this election season, that disposition is going to be a transforming and also a life-changing disposition for others who have never known this. Many times it's our attitude in these things. We're not indifferent. We just understand who's in charge. And that attitude of rest is something that everyone in this world, I believe, is seeking to some degree. They just want to find that place. Let's be that testimony to them. Till next time, friends, God bless you.